My name is Amara Chukwumadike, and my co-author is Susan Wilkinson. Our research work is centered on identifying parameters to develop an evidence-based building code to improve the New Zealand building code. New Zealand building code is performance-based, and it has undergone several amendments, and there has seemed to be unintended consequences as a result of amending the building code, and the authors have moved forward to identify parameters that will be used to improve the building code. As of 1979, New Zealand was using over 60 building by arts across the country, and New Zealand building code was formally converted from prescriptive-based building code to performance-based building code in 1991, and it came into force in 1992. New Zealand building act has been amended since the first time in 2004 and 2012, 2016. Also, the code was partially derived from Northern Building Code, and over here the Building Act is on top, which shows that the building code has been enacted into law, while the building code shows the building requirements, the building requirement that must be met. Then the alternative solution, the compliance document, shows the various means of complying to the building code requirements. There are some reasons why building code amendment is necessary: to improve the clarity in building code requirements, for example, the bare minimum that was stated in the building code; to ensure safety; to improve innovative techniques and flexibility, since the performance-based building code allows for innovation; and also to carry out an impact assessment in order to reduce the impact of innovation, and also to address the issue of quality in design and construction, incorporate new findings, maybe through research or through experimental work or through evidence-based studies gained from maybe previous disasters, and also to address the dissatisfaction of building code outputs, like what happened in leaky building. So there are some situations confronting building code improvement. For example, what do we need to improve? How do we carry out this improvement process, and when do we need to introduce these building code changes into force? So the researchers use the narrative literature review to search on the existing materials and to find out what are these parameters to help to improve the building code. So the authors came up with 5 priorities: one on regulations and administration. Then the second one is on amendment process. The third one is on compliance, enforcement, and design and implementation. So under regulation and administration, the authors found out that there is need to improve the legislation to reduce the bureaucracy in the building process, for example, in design approval and getting a compliance certificate; to improve clarity in the building code, ensure that there is monitor flow between the regulators and the code users, and to carry out a mandatory impact assessment of the changes done in the building code, and also to have a legislation that will improve this innovation, and also to improve the functions of building code consent authorities and the territorial authorities. Under amendment process, the authors found out that there is need to increase transparency, implement building code users' contributions, and identify areas of deficiency in the building code. So under compliance, the authors found out that there is need to develop a mechanism to ease understanding by carrying out different workshops and lectures to educate the code users, and also to provide and enhance existing technical assistance to the code users, to provide incentives to those that comply willingly, and also to carry out a cost-benefit analysis. Regular building code amendment, of course, is one of it, and then creating awareness and training the building code users. So under enforcement, the authors identified the need to increase monitoring and inspection of construction works, promote missed enforcement, and strengthen resources availability for training of building code users, and also for training of the technical officers. Also to have a qualified enforcement team, and to institute a legal framework where the violators of building code requirements can be treated. Also, there is need to have competent staff under design and implementation, because even if the building code users are innovative, then coming to the councils where the work will be submitted, if the technical staffs are not competent enough, they may not be able to okay the work. Then there is need to encourage low risk innovative techniques. Yeah, innovation is good, but getting it overboard, then that's where innovation starts having issues. There is need to increase the building quality and incentives. Then there is need to reduce high regulatory system and the complexities that are associated with building code requirements. Then the authors also developed a framework. So under this framework, the first one is to have a resilient built environment through the use of building code. The second option there is action priorities, where the authors have the main priorities on regulation, design, enforcement, compliance, and amendment process. The criteria are the factors that the authors have already identified. Then the action drivers are the people, the planning process, the policy, product, and performance. Then the stakeholders are those that use the building code, while the action plans are the things that need to be done in order to achieve the criteria. In conclusion, the authors came up with a framework that could guide the pathway to improve the building code, both on the side of the building code regulators and also on the side of the building code users. It also will help to encourage innovation with careful risk assessment. Innovation is good, but when it's outpacing the readiness of the industry, then there is a problem with it. Though it also help to assist the code to meet the societal expectations, for example, safety. It's also encourage the building code users to comply willingly to building code requirements without the technical officers or the councils having to chase the building code users to comply, even though the building code is a compulsory system. However, there is need to encourage the people to comply. Or it's also balance the diversity of stakeholders' interest in building code. For example, you have the building code regulators that ensures for safety. Then you have the building owners that go for or maybe quality. Then you have the insurance companies that goes for the cash and all the rest of it. Then there's need to have a unique this framework may be unique to New Zealand. However, the data can be transferred to other countries depending on, one, if the country is using performance-based building code. Two, if the country amend the building code regularly as New Zealand amend the building code within the same time frame. Then if also the country also is serious on enforcing the building code requirements. So these are some of the factors that are considered before the framework can be transferred to other countries. Thank you so much for listening. The authors appreciate. Thanks.